बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम इन्नल्लाह मलाइकतहु युसल्लूना अलन नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लु अलैहि वसल्लिमू तस्लीमा अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मदिन व आलि मुहम्मद सुब्हानल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि वला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वल्लाहु अकबर वलिल्लाहिल हम्द। अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर। अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। अशहदु अन्ना अमीरल मुमिनीन व इमामल मुत्तक़ीन अलिय्यन वलियुल्लाह। अशहदु अन्ना अमीरल मुमिनीन व इमामल मुत्तक़ीन अलिय्यन हुज्जतुल्लाह। हय्या अलस्सलाह हय्या अलस्सलाह हय्या अलल फलाह हय्या अलल फलाह हय्या अला खैरिल अमल हय्या अला खैरिल अमल। अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अल्लाहुम्मा अजअल क़ल्बी बारा व लिसाना व शिकारा व रिज़्क़ी दारा व औलादी अबरारा वजअलनी इंद क़ब्र नबिय्यिका मुहम्मदिन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि वसल्लम मुस्तक़र्रन व क़रारन बिरहमतिका या अरहमर राहिमीन। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मदिन व आलि मुहम्मद।
अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहिल्लज़ी काना मौजूदन क़ब्ल हुदूसिल अशिया व यबक़ा बअद फ़नाइल अशिया तफ़र्रद बिल अव्वलिय्यति वल क़िदम व वसम कुल्ल शैइन मा अदाहु बिल फ़नाइ वल अदम कमा क़ाल अज़्ज़ शानु कुल्लु शैइन हालिकुन इल्ला वजहहु व कुल्लु नफ़्सिन ज़ाइक़तुल मौत व क़ाल कुल्लु मन अलैहा फ़ानिन व यबक़ा वजहु रब्बिका ज़ुल जलालि वल इकराम सुब्हान मन ला यख़फ़ा अलैहि इख़्तिलाफ़ुन निय्यात व ला यअज़ुबु अन्हु मासिल इबाद फ़िल ख़लवात सुब्हानल्लाहिल्लज़ी मिन्हु ख़िल्क़तुल इबाद व इलैहिल मआद। वमन यअमल मिस्क़ाल ज़र्रतिन ख़ैरन यरा वमन यअमल मिस्क़ाल ज़र्रतिन शर्रन यरा। नशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्ला हुवल मलिकुल्लज़ी ला युनाज़अु फ़ी मुल्किही व ला युग़ादु फ़ी हुक्मिही युअज़्ज़िबु मन यशाअु बिमा यशाअु कैफ़ यशाअ व यरहमु मन यशाअु बिमा यशाअु कैफ़ यशाअ। ताज़ीबुहुल मुस्यीन अदलुन व अफ़्वुहु तफ़ज़्ज़ुल व नशहदु अन्न मुहम्मदन सय्यिदुल मुरसलीन व खैरुल मुबश्शिरीन वल मुनज़िरीन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि अल हुदातिल महदिय्यीन। मन रकिब सफ़ीनतहुम नजा वहतदा व मन तख़ल्लफ़ अन्हा ज़ल्ल फ़ग़रक़ा व हवा ऊसीकुम इबादल्लाहि बिल इतिसाम बित्तक़वा फ़इन्नहु हब्लुम मतीन व उर्वतुन वुस्क़ा। अम्मा बाद क़द क़ाल अल्लाहु तबारक व तआला व क़ौलुहुल हक़्क़ु व हुवा अस्दक़ुल क़ाइलीन। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I begin by advising myself and all of you to practice the piety and taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as is the best of provisions. I wanted to, in this first Jumu'ah after the holy month of Ramadan, wanted to address some of the, or what I like to call post-Ramadan syndrome. And post-Ramadan syndrome, of course, we alluded to it last night in the Shab Jummah program as well, but many of you probably were not there. Something along that line, and inshallah, what else should we be expecting? Of course, Eid al-Fitr is celebrated by saying farewell to the blessed month of Ramadan, as we did on Wednesday. And we reflect on how our devotions in Ramadan have impacted our attitudes, our relationships, our bodies, our hearts, our minds, and as well as our souls. All Muslims, as Muslims, we're all aware that Islam has always been a comprehensive and all-embracing movement. Since the beginning, because it's the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kalam hakim, and presented by Nabi Mukarram, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It addressed everything and everything that insan, human beings, are in need of. It has at the head of its program spiritual development, sincere devotion, observance of divine guidelines, sustaining a wholesome environment, reform of human society, and empowering human beings, and many other things along that line. An essential component of the mission of all prophets has thus been reinstituting the natural balance and the implementation of social justice. Right? Quran talks about this social justice as well in many such ayat. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ. Don't let someone influence you, even if it may be ulil qurba, your family members. اعدلوا, act with justice, even if it goes against you. We are inheritors of the prophetic movement, a movement that of necessity has to be relevant. Relevance of faith dependent on practical action. It cannot just be merely, as we say in Urdu, zabani jama kharch. It cannot be just the utterance from the tongue. We need to realize that the relevance of Islam is not determined by the importance we as the faithful assign to our faith, but rather how our all-embracing faith, this religion of Islam, responds to the realities of our times. It addresses every reality that exists around us in our realm, addresses that, and addresses it beautifully, addresses it completely, without any flaws in it. Relevance is not measured by teaching the shahada or the testimony of faith to a starving person, or merely praying for those who are impoverished, or simply cutting off the hands of the thief. Relevance is rather determined by the desire to feed the hungry at the time of need, alleviate the suffering of those in pain at the time of hurt, and general commitment to remove the need to steal in the society instead of just chopping off the hands, fulfilling those needs so that you don't come to such conclusions or you don't come to such punishments. Relevance of Islam depends on how the ummah practically engages with the world. We're not here to live in a secluded society by ourselves. Deen teaches us so that you and I are able to mingle and play an important part and role in the society. We're not a cult which cannot be with other faith groups or cannot get along with other faith groups. No, if anything, it gets along with everyone because it has everything. It's a universal message. Other people see Islam, unfortunately, they see Islam through the lens of Muslims. And if Muslims fail in the world, then Islam would seem to have failed as well. If I'm the best example of Islam and I have terribly failed, then of course, people the religion will be reflective of what I am proposing and what I am showing to the others. So therefore, our qualitative contribution, not so much quantitative contribution, is needed in order for us to play this role in providing this necessity and the guidance and providing a wholesome picture to the community that we live in. It's not what quantitative numerical position we occupy, it is what qualitative contributions we make. Every walk of life, of course, first and foremost, you want to provide humanity with humanness, that, every life matters, every life is sacred, rights of everyone is equal, and all of those things which are the basic rules, and justice, which I alluded to in the beginning, all those basic things. It is about bringing hope to those people or situations that may seem helpless. Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised, Allah disdains hopelessness. It is incumbent upon you to take a hopeful stand with an intelligent resolve. Therefore, nothing affirms our humanity more than our capacity to empathize. It is this frame of heart that enables us to feel the agony of pain experienced by others. Otherwise, those sentences that you hear, Man asbaha walam yahtam bi umur muslimin, laysa bi muslim. Idha ishtaka uzwan wahid, if one part of your body pains, the entire body feels the pain. Those are just merely words if you're not feeling that pain. The way you feel pain of your family members' loss, or your family members, material loss, or other type of things that you may have, or their death, for example, how you experience that, how you feel a gap and flaw in yourself, and you feel that your part of you is hurting because, for example, someone in your family is hurting. That has to be established for the entire ummah. And so therefore, it is this frame of heart that enables us to feel the agony of pains experienced by others and treat others we would like to be treated the same way. We should treat others how we would want them to be treating us, and do our best to make the world a better place, one good deed at a time, right? Don't jump that I want to accomplish all of these 50 things. Just do one at a time and be da'im and continuous with that activity. Not just one off. You did it once a year and that's it. Continuously perform that deed. Faith and religion can truly manifest as leading positive forces if we as people of faith realize the need for the spiritualization of our being, the moralization of our consciousness, the empathy in our attitude, the goodness in our conduct, which, wise ones have said that faith is not manifested by mere wishing. Rather, it is rooted in the purity of heart, and it's verified by beneficial actions. Words, you can play with words, but just wishing someone, may Allah give you this, may you be happy, and may things turn around for you, we're praying for you, and all that stuff without much substance is mere wishing. And plus, if you don't contribute toward making that thing to be a reality, I'm just shooting an arrow in the wild and see, hopefully it hits the target and that would be it. No. Making concentrated effort in order to bring about that what I'm wishing for. Otherwise, it's just a wish, whimsical wish. It will not come true if I don't put these two realities together. It is not unusual to feel inadequate after Ramadan, though. Ramadan was a month which made us feel good. And so to feel inadequate afterwards, it's okay. To feel unaccomplished when you look back the way you spent it, I wish I had done more ibadat during the month of Ramadan. I wish I hadn't wasted so much time during the month of Ramadan. To feel depressed when you look at your post-Ramadan situation. Thus, we arrive at the post-Ramadan syndrome. Wow. It didn't even take a single day after the month of Ramadan ended before I went back to my old bad habits. Right? Took only one day. After Eid, I was back to what I was accustomed to doing, and that's all it took for me to come back, revert back to my fitrat and my nature. I really may be a hopeless case in this regard. As if all your disciplining efforts during the month of Ramadan were wasted the moment you committed that first post-Ramadan sin. There's no denying the fact that the Ramadan, after Ramadan, things begin to change for us. It is called Eidul Fitr, as we mentioned yesterday. Why is it called Fitr? Because you go back to your fitrat. You go back to your nature, right? And when you're coming back to your nature, meaning that which you were doing for 30 days was not really a natural thing for you to deprive yourself of 18 hours, 16 hours in some parts of the world from food and drink. You're allowed to eat because it's halal for you. There's no denying that, things start to change right away. But our carefully constructed self-discipline begins to also crumble down. In 30 days, we were able to establish this self-discipline. What do we see? It's now slowly and gradually crumbling down. Why is it much more difficult to stay consistent after Ramadan? We were able to do that for 30 days. Why can't we continue on doing that? The most obvious answer is, I mentioned this yesterday, so those who were here, apologize for repeating. Shaitan is back. He's out of the cage. He's back in his workforce. He's working again. He's busy doing what he does. He's back in picture. Ayat number 17 and 16 of Surah Araf. قال فبما أغويتني لأقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم ثم لآتينهم من بين أيديهم ومن خلفهم وعن أيمانهم وعن شمائلهم ولا تجد أكثرهم شاكرين. That, O Allah, I will sit on the Sirat al-Mustaqim and I will make sure that I misguide them. I'm not going to sit on, wrong paths. I'm going to sit on right path. Sirat al-Mustaqim. And that's only one Sirat al-Mustaqim. I always give this example that Shaitan doesn't go out and sit in front of the clubs and, pubs or places of, where people are gambling, casinos. No, Shaitan doesn't need to go sit over there. He's already done his hard work for those people. He needs to sit right outside the masjid, right outside of your place of worship. This is what breaking the back of Shaitan. When you bow in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that breaks the back of Shaitan. So his all concerted effort will be here, right outside the mosque, right outside your Imam Barga, right outside your place of worship. All the places of worship there are in the world, Shaitan has his agents waiting outside just to go ahead and keep you away from that path. So because he's back, why is it difficult? Let me go back to the question. Why is it more difficult for us to be consistent after Ramadan? Number one, Shaitan is back in picture. Allah had kept him captive for 30 days, in shackles for 30 days, was not allowed to go ahead and do any of these things. No, he's let loose. He's allowed to go ahead and do what he used to do. Number two, on the other hand, something leaves us too. The extra blessings and special barakah effects of Ramadan, they go away with it. Right? Ramadan came, brought us what? Blessings and mercy and barakat. Of course, you don't find the same barakat in the month of Shawwal. That was all exclusive to the month of Ramadan. Why? Nawmukum fihi ibadah. When you sleep in the month of Shawwal, is it considered to be ibadat? No, you're just being lazy. If you sleep too much in the month of Ramadan, it's considered to be ibadat. Wa anfasukum fihi tasbih. When you breathe in the month of Ramadan, it is considered to be tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the month of Shawwal, is it glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No, it isn't. So that was the extra blessing of the month and the barakat of that month that was there. What is it now? It's gone. It's not there. So that's why, going back to the question, it becomes more difficult for us to stay consistent with the, after Ramadan, because these things are no longer there. But the presence of shaitan and a decrease in barakat are not the only reasons why it's so hard for us to stay consistent post-Ramadan. You'll find it much more difficult to keep up with your ibadat and self-improvement goals after the month of Ramadan, because possibly the biggest source of motivation is gone. Number three, community spirit. When someone said food, I said, no, that's not right. Community spirit is gone. That sense of community that you developed for 30 days, coming together, breaking the bread together, standing in salat together, and I gave this example yesterday as well. Friends calling friends, are you coming over tonight? Are you going? I'll meet you there. I'll see you there. Friends making plans to be in masjid together so that they can break the bread together. They can pray together, for example. They can be part of the dua ritual together. And that sense of spirituality, the community spirit, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. There's a reason why Islam puts so much emphasis and heavy emphasis on sticking together, motivating one another, forming a strong brotherhood as such with each other. As this ayat number 103 of Surah Al-Imran suggests, that hold on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not individually, collectively. You all need to hold on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not everyone has their own rope. No, everyone who's holding on to the same exact rope. That's the idea of community. Another reason for the post-Ramadan dip, quite apparent but often missed, is the fasting itself, right? I don't know if you've been counting. Shaitan is back, barakat is gone, community spirit is now lacking. And number 4, fasting itself was that reason why we were so consistent in what we were doing or in what we were not doing, right? So there are two things. You were trying to gain something and you were trying to avoid something. Both were being accomplished by this fasting itself. No, we're not fasting anymore. So what happens? That concept also goes away. So fasting is one of the best ways for a Muslim to practice self-discipline. Compare your regular day to the days when you were fasting and you were still going to work. It's not like your work was off for a month. You were still going to work and you were fasting. Compare that day when you went to work and you were fasting for the last month, and now that you're not fasting and you go to work. Compare these 2 days and you'll be able to see how were they different or how are they different. You had better control over your tongue while you were fasting. You stayed away from sins more consciously, and maybe even let go of some of your bad habits on purpose because you had sworn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that as long as I'm doing this ibadat, I'll avoid all of these things A, B, C. So here's my process of getting out of the post-Ramadan slump. You say, well, Maulana, you gave us the reasons why we are in this slump, this post-Ramadan syndrome, as you want to call it, new istilah that I just generated today. And so this slump, we're in this slump now. I'll give you an example of baseball. Usually the hitters, they go into a slump. And, they have a bad week or a bad month sometime, and they're unable to hit a ball. The same guy who was hitting 350 or 320 is now down to 190, 150, right? Can't hit a ball. So they work hard. What do you tell this pitcher who's not pitching well? What do you tell this hitter who's not hitting well? Do more of what you were doing before. You got to continue on practicing. You have the talent. Talent is not gone. Yeah, you might be aging, but you're not aged yet, so talent is still there. All you got to do is bring that practice again, and you'll be right where you were again. So keeping that in perspective, what can we do to tackle this post-Ramadan slump and keep moving forward? First, you start with the mindset shift. Control how you think, and you'll control how you act. Right? The mind games. If you're able to control Ma da'ufa badanun amma qawiyat alayhi niyatu. Body does not weaken as long as the niyat is strong. Right? How many elderly do you see that they are doing extra ibadat, and you see a teenager who's running away even from the wajib ones? How many elderly you see that they're emphasizing on doing the nawafil and the nafila prayers? They want to do extra prayers. They want to pray extra. And this 20-year-old has hard time standing 2 rakat. It's not that, this 20-year-old does not have energy and that 80-year-old has more energy. No, it's vice versa, in fact. 80-year-old does not have the same energy. 20-year-old has definitely more physical energy. How many elderly are fighting? Maulana, I want to fast. My doctor says, no, you shouldn't, but I want to fast. I think I can fast. Hey, don't fast if doctor is saying don't fast. But they're determined, no, they want to fast. They want to be part of the spirit of fasting. But how many younger ones will call someone, can I not fast today because I have soccer practice? Can I not fast today because I have this exam? Can I not fast today because I have this and that? So they're trying to get away from this ibadah while the elderly are trying their hard to go ahead and perform this ibadah. This qawl of Imam is really a key here. مَا ضَعُفَ بَدْرٌ أَمَّا قَوِيَتْ عَلَيْهِ النِّيَّةُ. Body does not fail. Body does not fail you as long as the niyat is qawi. If the mind and the niyat is strong, you see an 80-year-old is doing all the ibadat. 80-year-old is standing up and down. That's what your qawi niyat gives you. So you got to start with mindset shift. Control how you think and you'll control how you act. One little thought can change everything inside you. One little thought. Work on your mind and your mind will work on everything else for you. Here are some healthy ways how we can deal with the post-Ramadan situation. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Number one, be grateful for whatever you were able to accomplish in Ramadan. That's number one. Stop looking down on yourself. Be grateful that what I was able to do, alhamdulillah, within my capacity, I was able to do this much. That's great. I was able to accomplish this. Appreciate what you were able to do. Maybe you tried really hard to make the best use of every second in the month of Ramadan, but your efforts fell short and you weren't able to accomplish all the goals that you had set. Or maybe you didn't try too hard. Either way, be grateful for whatever you did manage to accomplish. That's a good start. That's the first start. Don't look down upon yourself. Don't start condemning yourself and don't start blaming yourself. No, start with a positive note or saying, alhamdulillah, this much I was able to do. But of course, don't start bragging about that either. Oh, I was able to do this much and then that's it. This is the start where you want to continue and be consistent even after the month of Ramadan. Number two, keep a check on your expectations. And possibly the biggest reason for post-Ramadan depression is setting unrealistic and disproportionate expectations for yourself. I should be able to do this now. Hands down, I should be able to accomplish this now. No, from yourself, from others, from your environment, make sure that those expectations are realistic. Number three, this is important. Not that other two weren't, but this is something which I can also relate to, as I'm sure all of us have gone through this phenomena. All or none thinking. All or none. Thinking, it helps no one when you say either all or either none. We're on either side where we're going all in or we're just running away from it. Ramadan ends, you commit a sin that you have managed to stay away from in the month of Ramadan. You say to yourself, what's the point now? I've already done this. What's the point now for stopping myself for even further sinning? I tried so hard, but I did it again. I'm not even going to bother anymore. I'm not even going to try now. That's it. I give up. Shouldn't have this all or none mentality. That is wrong. This is where Shaitan is doing his job correctly. This is where Shaitan is, winning and showing his progress on you. When he gets you to the mindset of all or none. Tumne ye kar liya, you did this, you can't control yourself. Might as well do this, might as well do this, might as well do that. No. If you did make a mistake and end up committing a sin after Ramadan, don't let this be a downfall, a nosedive into, oblivion again. So his oldest trick, Shaitan's oldest trick in the book is to convince you to drop everything on the first mistake. Because you're the most terrible person now in the world. How dare you did this? Drop everything. There's no tawbah for you. There's no turning around for you. You're doomed. Might as well just, throw in the towel now. That's it. That's his oldest trick in the book. I don't wear hijab. Might as well not bother with praying because my prayers won't be accepted, or I'll do it all later, for example. Or other similar feelings that come into person's mind. So, of course, we're all going through this post-Ramadan syndrome, and we all sort of get into this slump after the month of Ramadan, but there's a way of knocking ourselves and coming out of it and not letting things slow us down. Continue on the good and hard work that you worked for the past 30 days, that training period. Remember what we said on the day of Eid? 30 days, we were under training. Now we are fasting. Now we are fasting. Fasting was not abstaining from food and drink from dawn to dusk. Fasting is now how that 30-day was able to prepare us to be a good human being with others, with our families, with our parents, with our colleagues, with our siblings, with all those who are in around, with our community. How are we now a better person? Try it. It's not that difficult. Things that you haven't said to someone in the past, if you're always shy of asking someone if they needed something, go ahead and make that effort. All it takes is one time. You asking this breaks the ice, and then you're at it, doing good all around. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq and ability to continue with the energy of the month of Ramadan, and to not take this opportunity away from us, that we have built a good reputation with the month of Ramadan. We also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that when we bid farewell to this month of Ramadan, it's not like now we're never going to fast again. Bidding farewell to a friend that is now departing is to walk a few steps with it. Let's walk a few steps with the month of Ramadan. At least fast one day in the month of Shawwal, so that you're walking a few steps, 6 days if it's possible for you. Inna asl hadith wa ablagh al-mawidha kitabullah a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus solihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الكريم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبه وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وعفى عن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد ولا معصي العباد إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا والصفحا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو اللطوف على العباد بجوده والأفضل المظلمين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين ألا قد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه الصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا للصفية إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المؤمنين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ما هي آثار البدع والطغيان خادم ابن الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آباء الكرام اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمراء المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وعلو الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يذكر فتنفعه الذكر إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائمة قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا وآتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. ربنا أفرغ علينا الصبر وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح جناب فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All of us together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة لابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Jummah Mubarak to you all. Just a quick announcements, a few programs that are coming up. A yearly rally that takes place in Washington, D.C. For Jannatul Baqi. This inshallah will be taking place this coming April 17th. It will be a Wednesday. Bus will depart from here, Masjid-e-Ali. So please arrive here at 8 a.m. And there's a link to register for the trip as well. The email will go out probably Monday. So you'll have the opportunity to go ahead and register if you want to be part of the protest. It'll be on a Wednesday, April 17th. The annual protest for Jannatul Baqi, inshallah, will take place in Washington, D.C. Aside from that, the Majlis for Inhidam in Jannatul Baqi, inshallah, that'll also go out in the email on Monday. Most likely it'll be on Thursday. Weekend is upon us. Friday just passed, Saturday and Sunday. Salatul Fajr, slight change of time. It'll be at 5:30 a.m. inshallah. So program will start with Salatul Fajr at 5:30. Following that, inshallah, we will have the regular Quran circle on Saturdays and Nahjul Balagha on Sundays. Futsal for kids and children and programs that would run during the month of, outside of month of Ramadan that were being run. On Friday nights, they are back on again. So inshallah, starting tonight, I don't know, 7? Next week, not this week. Sorry, next week, inshallah, it'll be starting next Friday. We'll have the details out for that by then, inshallah. Usually it starts, now that Salat is, 8 o'clock. It's probably going to start at 7 or so. But inshallah, we'll give those details out. Children 6 to 12, Quran Academy, they can benefit from that and then go to Sadiq School Gym to play with other friends. And then, of course, the older kids, they come. They also take part in that as well. Another community announcement is that there will be Isal Sawab Majlis for the Chihlum of Marhum Syed Rizvi on May 4th. That is a Saturday, May 4th. And that majlis will take place in Mahfil Shah-e Khurasan. Let's recite Dua Sihat for all of those people who are in need of dua, those who are suffering, struggling, going through a difficult time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them out of their difficulties and provide quick recovery to all of them. Especially pray for the people of Gaza, the ongoing atrocities that they're facing, and wherever Muslimin and Mu'mineen are suffering. Let's keep them all in our minds by reciting this ayah karima together 5 times. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu yakshifu as-su. 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 أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه يكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. Let's proceed to Salatul Asr. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح.